Hey, hello everyone. So my first question is, are you able to hear me? Please, can you all answer on the chat window on whether you are able to hear me or not? Or let me post a message here. Let me give a quote. Are you able to hear me? Yes or no? Please, can you answer the poll question? Yeah, a lot of you all are saying yes, so that's good enough for me. We shall proceed further. 90% of you all are able to hear. That's good stuff. Okay, let's proceed further. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Supply Chain Analytics. We are going to discuss what are the various applications in the space of supply chain analytics, and we will also, speak on why is it even more important at the time of COVID-19. And Gartner, which is a research organization, says that by 2023, at least 50% of large global companies will be using artificial intelligence, advanced analytics, and IoT supply chain operations. At least 50% of the organizations would be resorting to all of these things. Okay. We will first understand what is the digital supply network, what are the applications of supply chain, and there is SCOR model which we'll discuss. This training would be today for an hour, and also tomorrow you'll have the session for 1 hour, and after that every Saturday and Sunday for maybe 2.5 hours per day you'll have supply chain analytics training. For that's paid training. If any one of you is interested, you need to enroll and you can proceed further with the paid training. So, what is supply chain management? See, supply chain analytics is not just used during transportation. A lot of people think that supply chain means transportation, transporting the goods. Not really. It's complete value chain that you need to focus upon. And the value chain starts from obtaining the raw materials. Say you're a company, a manufacturing plant, and say you're manufacturing paper. For paper, for producing paper, you need pulp, which happens to be the raw material. So you take the raw material, you manufacture the goods, and then using your distribution channel, you distribute the parts closer to your customers, and then delivering the final product to the customer. And then you also need to provide service, maintenance of that particular product. These are the various stages which encompasses a specific value chain of supply chain. Value chain of supply chain management. Here there are a lot of applications. Number one, where do I need to go and procure the raw material from? If it's pulp which I need to procure, do I need to procure it from Kashmir, or do I need to procure it from Australia or South Africa? Where do I procure it from? So I'll have lot of places from where I can procure. Given that you have a lot of places, given that you know how much quantity you can procure, given the price, given the transportation cost, given all these aspects, you then decide either one single location from which you might want to procure, or multiple locations. I mean, you might want to procure raw material from multiple locations, but how much of raw material are you going to procure from each of the location? Right? That's basically called as optimization problem. This is data optimization problem. Within data optimization, there are two things that you need to figure out. One is your objective function. Here, your objective might be minimizing the cost. Maybe you are procuring raw material with the minimum cost possible you need to procure. Objective might be minimize the cost. But there will be constraints. Constraints are you need to procure X amount of raw material, because you can easily minimize the cost by reducing the amount of raw material that you procure. But the quantity that you need to procure would be defined. That's a constraint. Another constraint could be you cannot procure from a single continent. To mitigate the risk, people do this. So, always you need to procure from greater than or equal to 3 different countries, and these 3 countries should be from different continents. What if one specific country is impacted with pandemic? Your operations cannot stop. So you need to understand how to address the risks. These kind of applications exist when it comes to obtaining the raw material. Then you manufacture the goods. When you manufacture the goods, you use machines. The greatest issue is when you're manufacturing goods, your machines might fail, break down. If your machines break down, your operations will halt. It's going to cause loss. What could you do then? Let me even before that quickly look at. It's all good. Yeah. All right. Again, simple question. Hope you all are able to see the screen. Let me end the poll just to ensure that things are fine. Are you able to see my screen as well as please can you all answer to this poll? Wonderful. So 88%, 89, 90% of y'all, 91 are able to hear. So there are a few people who are not able to hear. Let me write it. Approximately 90% of participants are able to see my screen and hear me. If you have any issues, any trouble, please check your internet settings and audio settings. Simple. 90% of the participants are able to see my screen and hear me. So there's no problem at my end. If you have any trouble, you please go and check your internet settings and audio settings. Okay. So if machines break down, it's going to halt your entire operations. So what should you do then? You need to install. This is where supply chain disruption would come into picture. This is where you might want to use your artificial intelligence and machine learning, cloud, additive manufacturing, IoT plus analytics, digital reality, robots, cobots, drones, blockchain, cognitive automation, and address the issues. Okay. So if you have machines which break down frequently, what do? You need to place IoT sensors on your machine, industrial IoT sensors. Could be anything. Could be temperature, air pressure, it could be vibration, right? It could be anything. Once you have all those IoT sensors, using those sensors, you capture the data. That data is stored in a database. Now, this database could reside on premise servers, hardware in that company, in their own data centers, or this data can go and reside on cloud, Amazon Web Services or Microsoft Azure or Google Cloud Platform or Ali Cloud, etc. Or it might reside on a SCADA system. SCADA means machines will have an inbuilt computer. This inbuilt computer will be storing the data. But the flip side is it will have very less storage, but it will store there. Wherever data is getting stored, the moment you are able to record the data, you take that data and you perform machine learning on that. Predictive modeling. Okay, you apply machine learning algorithms. Once you apply machine learning algorithms, it will classify whether your machine will break down or not. Okay. Break down or not break down. If the prediction is breakdown, you send alerts. Maybe it could be simple messaging service alerts. And these alerts will go to technicians. These technicians, the moment they receive this alert, they will go and try to fix the machine proactively. Okay, in this machine, some lower component might fail. Then they go and try to fix this proactively. If they find that there is an issue and if they fix it, good. Your prediction, if your prediction is machine will break down, and when your technicians went and tried to verify, actually machines were breaking down, assume, or machines were about to break. So technicians go and fix. That's called as a true alert. They inform that you have done a prediction that machine will break down. In reality, machines were on the verge of breaking down, so that's a good prediction or a correct prediction. It's a true alert. Or your prediction might say that machine will break down, but then when technicians go and check, machine might be all fine. There's no issue. No component might fail. In that scenario, it's called as a false alert. Based on whether it is a true alert or a false alert, you update your algorithm. So you update your data, update your database, and update your ML algorithm. This is with respect to this second thing, which is manufacturing goods. Third is moving products closer to customers. How do you do that? How do you move products closer to customers? Here, you will have distributors. Now the question is, how many distributors do I need to have? I need to transport my goods to different distributors over trucks. So how many distributors do I need? How do I analyze the number of distributors? How many trucks do I need? Minimum number of trucks needed to deliver all these products on time to the various distributors. That's again analytics. You put industrial IoT sensors to track how many trucks are there, where are they, okay? Are they wasting time somewhere, or are they reaching the destination on time? So on and so forth. And the problems usually which are addressed here are called as shortest path problems. You need to find the shortest path from your manufacturing hub to the distributors. Shortest network path. Another problem that is handled here is, after you manufacture, you place your products in inventory. And do you want to have a hub and a spoke approach wherein the main inventory in your manufacturing plant will serve as a hub and all the other distributors will be treated as spokes? From here, you will be supplying to everyone. Or do you want to have multiple inventories which are placed, say, at your customer locations? From there, you in turn cater to multiple customers. How many inventories should I have? To how many customers or to how many distributors will those inventories cater? How many products do you need to have in each of these inventories? Because it's cost at the end of the day. All that is done using supply chain analytics. Next, delivering the final product to the customer. Ultimately, supply chain means you're supplying the product to the end customer. So how do you deliver? How many people should go and deliver to the end customer? How many, uh, you know, courier persons do you need to have? How many people should take your parcel and give it to the customer? How many employees do you want? How many two-wheelers do you need? How many four-wheelers do you need? Are you taking it and transporting it to a different country altogether? In that case, would air be better or sea route be better? All those analysis is done. I'll speak about a few Amazon use cases in the subsequent slides as well. After that, servicing the product. Can I service the product upfront? For example, point 4, I'll talk about that in further detail later. Point 5, let me take it to the next one. I'll give you an example of Panasonic because we are an exclusive EdTech partner with them. They produce air conditioners. Air conditioners have a lot of sensors. They also have dust sensors, which will capture amount of dust which is accumulated on AC, aircon. Okay. In Malaysia, etc., we call it as aircon. In India, here we call it as AC. Okay. So you put again industrial IoT sensors and you capture the data. After you capture the data, you predict whether your AC will fail or not. And that information goes to technicians proactively, and the technician goes and fixes this issue proactively. So that two advantages. One is you're not giving your customer a chance to complain because you're upfront fixing it by trying to understand the problem. Even before your customer knows, you proactively call to the customer and say, customer, your machine, we sense that because of excess dust, it might fail. So we'll have to come and service. If you service in that way, longevity or the amount of or number of years or number of months that your AC is going to operate will increase eventually. If the longevity increases, then there will be positive, brand traction. So these are the various, phases of your value chain in supply chain management. And this is how at each phase you have plethora of opportunities that you have. While you implement any digital transformation solution, your artificial intelligence, data science, or machine learning, whatever, are part of digital transformation. And whenever you are implementing digital transformation, these four disciplines should be maintained. You need to upfront sense on what's going on. You need to collaborate with various, people, various organizations, so as to optimize your, resources that you have. And if something is going wrong, you need to respond proactively. Okay, these are a few things that you need to remember. And from supply chain analytics perspective, please remember that these are all the various pillars. You'll have AI and machine learning, you'll have cloud on which you store the data, additive manufacturing or 3D printing. If usually what happens is, at least in developing and underdeveloped countries, whenever a manufacturing plant is set, They don't procure new machines. They procure used machines from very advanced manufacturing hubs such as Germany, etc. Okay, and the manufacturing plant which manufactured these machines and give it to you, maybe that machine that you procured was outdated. If some component, some nut or a bolt gets loose or due to wear and tear, if it gets damaged, you go and check with that supplier that, hey, this nut and bolt is what I need. If they say that no, we stopped the manufacturing of this already since it's old, what would you do? You simply cannot throw it away. It will be millions of dollars, the cost of machines. So you perform 3D printing and you're going to print that bolt and then fix it. IoT and analytics. IoT, the moment it is supply chain, amazing IoT happens. Okay, I'll talk more about that as part of our actual training. Digital reality. Okay, it's like virtual reality, augmented reality. Very similar to that, you have digital reality. Then you have robots, cobots, drones, etc. Then you have blockchain for data security, and you have cognitive automation. Okay, cognitive computing. That's next level of prediction. Simply. Okay, so these are the various things that we have. And in the typical digital supply network, you develop a product, you plan, okay, on from where you need. This is like R&D. You develop stable compound, then you plan, then you source the raw material, then you make your maybe pharmaceutical components or whatever, then you deliver. Then you also deal with the returned products or you provide service. That has been now transitioned in a synchronous planning manner in this way. This has been transitioned into this, wherein you'll have synchronous planning. That means everything will be connected in a synchronous manner. Then customers will be connected. You will have customer support, smart factory wherein robots will be manufacturing. You'll have intelligent supply when you want raw materials, etc. Then you have digital development wherein you're going to develop digital platforms, automation, etc. And finally, you fulfill the requirement. Digital development, or here for that case, digital reality. If I were to just stretch a bit and explain you, for a specific beverages company, food and beverages, one of the gold standard companies, we built chatbot. The digital intelligence or digital development that we have done here helped them a lot in this way. What we have done is, if there is CEO or plant head, manufacturing plant head, or whoever be the respective stakeholder, they can actually ask questions here. CEO, a plant head might say, today what is the total amount of raw material which was consumed? Now, the moment they ask this question, this chatbot will go. It will understand that okay, this question is about how much raw material. So it will go to a table called raw material today. So it will sort it by the date that they're asking for today. How much raw? How much? So for today, how much raw material? Take a summation, and then it is going to reply. That is the kind of intelligence which is built using digital platforms. Okay. And A few people think that if I keep doing automation, I'm going to save a lot. Yes, you will save, but to some extent it's acceptable. That means direct costs, example, staff, etc. Okay, through automation, you're getting rid of your stuff. So that means costs will decrease, 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 decrease. But too much of automation would mean there'll be a lot of indirect costs. In the initial days, if you're doing low amount to mid-level automation, that's fine. But the moment you get into high-level automation, the indirect costs will escalate. And this is the actual cost curve. And you want your cost to be the minimum out of all the various possible scenarios. And this gives you the optimal degree of automation. Okay, that's how it works. Then, supply chain analytics. Before I go there, no, you cannot find it in learning management system. This is a free course, Selena. Um, this is a complete screen that I'm showing you, Anil. It's a complete screen that I'm sharing. Okay, starting from beginning is not possible, my dear friend. Yeah. All right. Let's look at a typical supply chain analytics and what are the various components of a typical supply chain analytics. So, in order to supply raw material to your manufacturing plant, you need to look at plant vendors, ports. Okay, and you also need to look at production purchase cost. These are the various things that you need to actually consider. If you want to purchase the raw material, how much is it going to cost? Do you need to purchase it or do you want to produce the raw material also? Certain pharma companies, they are like, hey, why do I need to procure raw material from outside? I'll have a separate department within my company whose job will be to produce the raw material which will be used by my manufacturing plant. And usually you look at sea ports. Okay, they do have ports, and a lot of companies need access to ports, quick access. That will save a lot in terms of transportation, time, fuel, trucks, whatnot. Okay. Then your next question would be, okay, I got the raw material, I've produced that. If you want to, after producing, obviously you want to transport it. But where do you want to stock your inventory? Do you want to stock your inventory in a specific region? For example, maybe I want to have one inventory in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, okay, and another in Johor. Or in India, I want to have it in Delhi. I want to have in Hyderabad, so on and so forth. Regional warehouses. Or do I need to have field warehouses? Meaning within Hyderabad, in High Tech City, I'll have one. Within KL, near NU Central, I'll have one. Okay, or maybe near some other location, Brickfields, I'll have one. I mean, of course, they both are very close, but still, for lack of better better location example, I'm giving that. So where do I need to have? And to decide upon that, I also need to look at how far is each and every inventory, whether it's regional inventory, warehouse or field warehouse, how far is it from the manufacturing plant? Because you also need to look into inventory transportation cost. How far do I need to transport and place that particular, place those, products? What is the distance? How much will be the fuel cost? What will be the wear and tear of the truck? What will be the cost of the truck? What will be the cost of the driver? All those things will be considered, and then you decide. Friends, this is by no means a mediocre analytics. This is going to have huge difficulty level. That's why I was saying that each of these five value chain components will have a separate analytics vertical, or at least they'll be treated as different verticals. Okay, and then you reach to the customer. When you reach to the customer, here there's another thing. You need to also understand or forecast the demand. You forecast how many products would be needed by the customers. Based on this forecast, you produce your products. And based on this forecast, demand forecasting, you also supply raw materials or place an order for those many raw materials given that you have the demand. So these are the various things that go into a typical supply chain analytics network. Take example of Boeing. Okay, one Boeing, aircraft, airplane that has to be produced. For that, look at the various components that exist. Okay, so to come up with to produce one aircraft, fuselage is ordered from Italy. Then forward fuselage is from Japan. Then this is from Kansas. Cargo access doors are from Sweden. And different things are produced by different companies. If you see this color, where is this? Sand. Red color, Spirit, is a company which manufactures only this. Okay. Alumina in France produces only the maybe doors, or maybe this company, right? Maybe Rolls-Royce produces majorly engines. In this way, each component is produced by different companies in different countries. Now the question is, if I place an order for tail, and if I receive the tail before I receive the, maybe before I receive this AFT fuselage, then I cannot assemble it. I need to wait until I get this. So I need to place an order for all these components in such a way that all of these components arrive within a span of 1 to 2 days gap. Because I don't want to store it in my inventory, it's inventory cost. So the moment I have all these components, I need to quickly assemble. Look at the complexity. Different companies will have different SLAs. They'll say that, okay, do you want me to produce or manufacture tail fin? It will take 30 days. Spirit might say, hey, okay, I have fuselages already. It might take 10 days to reach you. But if I receive this beforehand, what is the disadvantage? I need to keep it in my inventory. So I need to plan in such a way that all these components from different countries reach more or less on time, so that I assemble and quickly send it away. So the inventory cost should be less, so on and so forth. Okay, this image I've put it just to help you understand the complexity involved behind these things. Let me look at the questions. Okay, next. Please connect from your desktops on your mobile phones, obviously. Okay, let me explain this specific use case also. Okay, or rather, I'll skip this specific use case. Maybe I can cover it tomorrow and then explain a few other things here. Usually, what happens is Amazon has done this, by the way. You place an order, then it goes through your order management system. The request goes through order management system. Then you pick your product, you package it, and logistics come into picture. Your truck will transport that, and then ultimately you deliver it to the customer. However, can I apply predictive analytics? Can I predict that customer A, or in this specific region, okay, we have 10,000 customers overall. Based on the buying behavior of all these 10,000 customers, we can predict what components or what products people might purchase. The moment you can predict on what products customers might purchase, you have list of items which might get purchased in the next 1 month or so. You upfront ship those and place it at the customer location. You upfront ship all these predicted products to KL and place it there. And then the moment customer places an order, immediately, since it's already in KL, you go and deliver to the customer. Wow. This is the lead time. You reduce the lead time from such a long lead time to such a short lead time. Would customers not be happy? Whoa, wow, they'll be extremely happy. And is this kind of analytics already implemented? If that is your question, look at this. Anticipatory package shipping. And look at the date of patent, 2013. Who has done this? Amazon. When did they do it? Way back in 2013. Analytics at its best. Amazon Technologies. So this is how supply chain analytics is revolutionizing the entire ecosystem. And this is called as your SCOR model. Okay. Supply chain operations reference model. So there are various activities which get involved here, such as, do you want to source your raw material from some other location? or do you want to make it in-house? Okay. Uh, Next, from sourcing perspective, all these are there. Then once you source your raw material, you make it. Then you deliver to the customer. Then if the product is returned, you understand. Now, when it comes to source, you have strategic, tactical, and operational analytics that you can perform. Strategic, prediction or analytics would basically mean long term. Time frame will be years for the next year, etc. For example, where should I source from, Australia or New Zealand? Or do I need to source a product from a raw material from India? Supply chain mapping, mapping, you know, the supply and the demand. These are all, all these kind of things have to be done for bearing in mind the next 1 year or so. Tactical is for months. Tactical sourcing, meaning why do I need to upfront plan and place an order and get it from Australia, New Zealand, India, etc. Can I not have supply chain contracts with different other intermediary folks? I'll just have interaction with this guy because the decision that I'm taking is just for the next few months. So it is this person's headache, vendor, supplier, contractor. It's contractor's job to figure out where they should get the raw material from. Then you have operational. Day to day, my plant has to run. So materials requirement planning. What are my material? How much quantity of material do you need for your daily production? If your inventory is getting over, all these products are people are using, then you need to have some kind of replenishment mechanism in place. Replenishment means the moment components raw material is finished, say by 30%, you have to ensure that you stock it. How do you stock? Where do you procure from? So all these things will be part of your source. Then you have make, schedule and manufacture, repair or remanufacture or recycle materials and products. What are the various plant locations? Product line mix at different plants. You might be having 2, 3 plants. Coca-Cola, for example, in India has 19 plants. Does not mean they will produce the same products throughout. Of course, fast-moving products they produce throughout, but there will be certain uniqueness about each plant. What are the different products to produce? Where should you place the plants strategically? Should it be closer to seaport? Should it be closer to airport? All these things. Then product line rationalization. The entire assembly line of product which is getting manufactured, you rationalize it. Rationalize in the sense, you think through whether assembly line is streamlined or not. Are there additional overheads or processes or bottlenecks here? Can we get rid of that? So on and so forth. You plan on how many sales people do you need, how many operations people do you need, so on and so forth. Then at operational level, you need to schedule how many people will be working. Do I need to have multiple shifts? Should it be 5 weeks a day or should it be should it be 5 days a week or 6 days a week? Or do I want to have my resources, human resources, work on weekdays shift versus weekends shift? Many things. Manufacturing, order tracking, scheduling, and then you need to deliver. You receive a product which is produced, then you schedule when you need to deliver. You pick that product, you pack it, and then you ship the orders. Wow, deliver means within that you have these many things. Yes. Where are you going to have your distribution centers? What is going to be your fleet planning? How many trucks do you need to transport and all? Transportation and distribution planning. What is the shortest network route? Shortest route possible to ensure that all my products are delivered on time. What are the inventory policies at locations? Minimum you need to have 30% of all the products. Could be. That could be one of the inventory policies. Or one of the policies might say we strictly don't allow liquor to be there in our inventories. Constraints. You need to bear in mind all of this. Vehicle routing for deliveries, that's operation. And finally, you have a return. Return means people who have taken your products, maybe they want to return the product. They might feel that, you know what, I don't like this product. Or maybe your product is under maintenance and some issue happened with that product. So you need to go pick that, you need to fix the issue, and again go back and deliver. How would you do that? Where all do you need to have your maintenance centers to fix the issue? Even if your product is not under warranty, if someone says that, hey, I want to fix this, I mean, my product is not working well, there has to be a service center. How many such service centers do you need to have? Where do you need to have? Who is going to collect? What will be the cost associated with that? With minimum cost, can I handle it? Right? So analytics is something which is applicable across all these levels: strategic level, tactical level, and operational level. Across these touch points: source, make, deliver, or return. And when it comes to plan, majorly it is demand forecasting. You forecast the demand bearing in mind the long term, mid term, and short term. All these three should be considered: long term, mid term, and short term. And based on these, you do demand forecasting. So these are the various things that you need to bear in mind. Of course, you have descriptive, predictive, and prescriptive analytics. I'll touch upon these tomorrow and explain about what are the various skills that are needed. Okay, and tomorrow I'll also touch upon this specific use case. I'll explain about SCOR model with respect to the analytics, and what is it that is needed to make your supply chain analytics a success. And I will also explain about what are the various modules which are key for someone to embark on supply chain analytics career. Okay, so those are a few things that we will discuss tomorrow. So I'll stop here. If you have any questions, I can take. Does deep learning come in handy? Yes, deep learning will come in handy, not just in supply chain analytics, Saurabh, but in all the industries. Remember one thing, that data science concepts or deep learning concepts, etc., are concepts which are industry agnostic, applicable to all the industries, applicable to all industry sectors and domains. Yeah. All right, friends. Thank you so much. And tomorrow we'll connect and take it forward. Thank you.